Yo, what's up, yo? What's up? Just kidding. JC here. Thanks for your question. Should solitary confinement be ended? Should it be abolished? Let's see. I have mixed feelings about that. I kind of think so, and there's a reason for that. Various reasons. One, let's think about this. You got violent, super violent criminals, or people in the middle of committing a bunch of violent acts on some sort of, you know, gang, whatever retaliation thing. There's sometimes people need to be confined, right? Super confined. So then there's the other way around. There's people with super safety concerns. They might need to be confined. They might not feel safe, and mental health has a lot to do with that. Sometimes just the threat might not be as real as they think, they perceive, but it is in their head, and that suffering alone can be terrible. So there's those two reasons, and then there's this other reason that is my own kind of personal reason. That's during solitary confinement, I had great moments of self-discovery. I mean, I love being in the hole, what they call ADSEG, right? Because during ADSEG, I got to read hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of books. Heaven. When I was a little kid, I used to, my idea of heaven was me alone in an infinite tower, infinitely tall, all white. I remember it was all white. And there'd be a desk, and there'd be like a big cushion, and I could wish upon demand a chair to read, and I could read all day and sleep and dream whatever I wanted. And that was my idea of heaven. So maybe that, for me, solitary confinement was a great moment to learn and to grow as an individual. And that's what I mean. If solitary confinement was geared, was not infinite, as sometimes it's been, people have served 10, 20 years in solitary confinement. But a year or two, and it was guided, where they got good books, and now with these tablets, they would get phone calls and video visits, and that's important. And I say that's important because evidence has shown that social connections and the greater our social circles, the true meaningful relationships we have a greater empathy. We have a greater understanding of the knowledge of our actions, of what they do, the repercussions. So obviously, people that commit crime don't have a real understanding or great understanding, empathic understanding of what their crimes do. But if they increase those social connections and hear of their family and friends becoming victims, or hear how people feel and connect, then there's an increase in empathy, there's a reduction in aggression, and it motivates people to be better people, and in turn that reduces crime and recidivism. So it's a mixed bag. So I think solitary confinement should exist. It shouldn't be indefinite, and it shouldn't be for over a year, 2 years tops. It should be used on an emergency basis for violent people and for safety concerns and for meditative purposes, because that was my meditation spot. I loved it. I wrote a novel there. I wrote a memoir there, episodic memoir. I wrote a musical play. I wrote a bunch of short stories, letters. But if you add the tablets, then with video visits and calls, maybe perhaps not giving them movies and entertainment and make it a really good time, or limited for certain hours, then you can kind of get the best of all the worlds. But sometimes you need a place to get away when you're here. Living in a tiny box with another man or another woman for women's prison is insane. It's crazy. American prisons violate what the UN recommends for confinement. So yeah, we're not. I think it's 9 feet all around that the UN recommends. So we don't meet the guidelines of humanitarian confinement. So sometimes we need to just get away. Thanks for your question. Oh, there is a bill or an act, I think, up for ending solitary confinement. So considering all you guys, gals, people out there that listen to this, why don't you send a little email, send a letter, call them up, and ask them to modify it, because ending it completely, a blanket ban on solitary confinement, will have negative repercussions. So it's got to be finely tuned, as all good laws should be. Thank you. Peace. Oh, don't forget to check out our podcast and keep asking those questions. We love them. Thanks. Bye-bye. I said bye-bye.